Hey y'all, welcome to the BF4Real Podcast.
So it's your girl Mila.
And it's your girl Ep.1.
And it's your girl Lost Baby.
And y'all probably don't know us, but we're going to give a little introduction for y'all to know.
It's your girl Lost Baby. Hey everybody. We're so excited to have each of you guys tuning in and tapped in with us and all Polynesian female podcasts. Yeah.
Okay.
Tap in. Okay. For those of you that don't know me, I'm from Glendale, Utah, and I am a plus size model / curvy body positivity influencer / manager / singer / all the above. Okay, I do it all. I do's what I do's. And I'm also a curvy content creator, so I put it on for the big girls out there. Shout out to all my plus size baddies.
Yes.
We love that. We love this era for us, and I am all about body positivity and self-love. So tune in and tap in with me.
I love that. Thank you. Hey y'all, it's your girl Mila, but my artist name, I go by The Exclusive. Shout out. Yeah. Yeah, but we're here today, and a little introduction about myself. I'm 22. I'm starting to do music more this year, and just in general, I've always wanted to do a podcast show, especially with these ladies right here that I'm really comfortable with. And I think that's all that's interesting about me. So we can go next to you.
Period. All right, you guys. My name is Ep.1, and this is something different. So, love it. But I'm just grateful to be in this space with these baddies for real. Let's see. Where do I start? Shout out to my husband. He has to be in my introduction. Y'all know my husband, Fat Boy to Don. I'm a mother of 4. I am also a content creator, and I post fun things, really. There's nothing specific. I just do fashion. I do reviews. And, of course, Curvy Girls. It's a Curvy Girl takeover.
Okay.
Period.
So what brought you guys over here? Or what did you guys want to talk about today? Or found interesting so far in social media?
All right, ladies, y'all ready to tap in?
Let's jump into it.
Okay,
The mic is all yours.
Okay, so we have a trending topic, and it's called "Who TF Did I Marry?" It's talking about this creator on TikTok that made a 52-part video story talking about how her ex-husband conned his way into marrying her and also getting all of her money during the COVID era. Yes, this man promised her
I need to take notes.
Jewelry, promised her money, promised her luxury life, period. He told her he's a vice president for a specific company. She believed it, and he even told her that he has accounts in different countries. And so she believed it, and she didn't really, act upon it. When you're in love, you guys know, when you're in love, like, love is blind, right?
It really is.
Okay, so she really didn't question him. It wasn't until she kept asking him, like, did you put an offer on the house? Because he promised her that he was going to buy her a house. Right. They had a specific house, and she just kept asking, and he always had, like, a financial advisor call and say, oh, he put in a bid, but it's not fully there yet.
Red
flag. Just keep, red flag. But she ignored it because it was COVID, and he moved in with her. Mind you, they've only known each other for 3 weeks.
Oh, no. Another red flag.
3 weeks. But they were both on that phase of their life where they date to marry.
Okay.
And so they were both looking to date to marry. So that's why she took it super serious with him. They got together. He was just giving her the roundabout. And then unfortunately it came to a point where she was applying for a new job, and she had asked him for Social Security. They're already married. She has to ask him for his Social Security. The number he gave her for her job application so they can do a background check is different from the Social Security number that he put on his marriage license with her. And so she knew right away that was a red flag.
Right.
She, I guess, looked up the number or the name, the Social Security, and it came back to a specific name, which had like a record of,
You watched all 52 parts?
Yes.
Why? Okay, because I couldn't even watch. I only watched the first one. I was like, this is so much. But now that you're
there's way much more. Like, there's way much more. But he basically just conned his way into getting his way with her. And he would fake the front like he's talking to his family on the phone all day. And she would always like, oh, she think it's his family. Next minute, she calls his family up after everything's been unfolded.
Yeah.
And they're like, we've never talked to him in years. Like, he is a pathological liar.
That's scary.
Yeah.
You know, this whole storyline is giving Netflix
Pick
please,
it up.
Yeah.
Pick
okay,
it up.
because this is crazy.
But like, I want to tap into the two, because you two being married, you guys, you know, have marriage experience, like, and we're talking about red flags and things that pop up. Wouldn't it have been just better for him to tell her that he's broke and doesn't have money, rather than trying to put up a front?
Scams.
Yeah.
Yes. Doing this fake image. Honestly and truly, I would rather hear it from the jump. This is just me personally, because I don't know. That's crazy. But me being me, I would have picked up red flags from week 1. You know what I'm saying?
Day one. I'm sorry. You responded to my text message 5 hours later.
Right. And
day one.
No, I just think that's so insane that it went on that long and that fast.
Yes. And she gained over millions of followers from that 52-part story. Like, she made income on a lot of those pages. A lot of those videos.
That's why it's important, y'all. Share
I need
your
to
stories.
do that too.
Yeah,
I could be making so much money.
Let's talk about it, because we're also like,
I have a lot of stories.
Let's talk about it, because we're also in the content creating space.
Right.
Like, put us on, Miss Content Creator. Let's go.
You guys, this is crazy. Honestly and truly, it's just, I don't know if I could do 52 episodes. Let me start there. But that's just crazy. I don't know. The content that I post on, like, okay, sorry. Please edit this out. I keep saying honestly and truly, and it's irritating me, and I'm catching up. Sorry.
You're good.
Okay, let me tap back in. So where am I picking up from? Explaining content creating?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so let's see.
Okay,
Okay,
like
so
stories of
creating content.
Yeah,
or that story.
Do you want me to? I'll tap you in if you
Yes.
want. Okay. So speaking of, you know, just like social media being such a platform where people can get amounts of income, and where people can get influence off of a 52-part story, like you said, I watched 52 videos of this lady explaining how she ignored all the red flags. But there's also positive to social media too, because I think that helps us educate.
True.
And I want us, you know, like, let's not gatekeep. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about content creating and what's the positive and negatives of it.
Okay, yeah. So for me, being that I be creating some content here and there, I don't know. I try and keep it as fun as possible, because the moment that creating content gets serious, it kind of takes away that spark.
It gets hard. Yeah.
So I try and keep it as me as possible, if that makes sense. But for me, what's worked out so far is, honestly and truly, let me tell you guys a funny story, actually. When I joined TikTok, my intentions were not to be this influencer, this TikTok content creator. I joined it because of the vibes. You guys already know TikTok.
Yes.
TikTok is very different from
other social media.
Yes. And Lose knows, because she up there.
Oh, girl.
And so is the exclusive.
Yes.
She about to hit her 10K.
About to.
So let's start there.
With them.
But I feel like TikTok is just a platform where you can literally get the exposure that you want.
Yes.
And it just helps you blow up so much faster than all the other platforms. But when I joined TikTok, it was just for fun. It was just for the vibes. And my first viral video was literally just me being goofy with my son.
Oh,
and I don't know if you guys remember, I chucked him on the bed.
Yes.
That was the one.
Oh, yeah.
And it just blew up from there. But the downside, and not necessarily downside, but like Lassa stated, you know, there's some good and some bad when it comes to being an influencer, because you're putting yourself out there for the public to view.
Yes.
And it just brought me back to a memory where I shared something personal to me, and it was the story of my daughter, her adoption story.
Yeah.
Okay, let me stop.
No,
I'm gonna stop there.
Please get into it.
I'm gonna stop there.
No,
Okay.
I love this. It's in my
Come closer,
opinion.
sister.
In my opinion, I feel like the success of content creating is authenticity.
Yes, that's
and for you to be authentic to a bunch of strangers, that's hard. Yeah. And I feel your energy, sister. Like, it's like I want to cry with you too.
No, you guys.
But it's such a thing that's needed to be heard. So go ahead.
Yes.
Let us know, like, what.
Where should I just pick up?
I just want to know, like, this is gonna be unedited. This is gonna be unedited. I want this part to stand because it's so raw. But let's talk about, like, the moment you had you had posted that on social media. As a mother, being judged by a bunch of strangers, good or bad. Like, I want to know how did you have the courage to post it? Because that's hard.
Yeah. No, it was 10 out of 10, highly don't recommend. But I just, the day of making it official for my daughter's adoption papers, I just felt so moved to share it because, somebody out there can probably relate to my daughter's story. And that one little thought right there was the reason why I was like, just post it. I already knew there was going to be good and bad. Yes. I already knew, but I was like, I can take it. Everybody's entitled to their own opinions. I get that. And especially when you're a content creator, like I stated earlier, you have to be able to take it. Yeah. You don't have to react to everything. Yeah. But I just did it for that little percentage where somebody can relate to it. And, my daughter, I just wanted her to always have that. And just seeing how happy they were when we made everything official, I just knew I needed to share their story. So that's the reason why I did it. And I'm grateful I did because, it's crazy because just so many other Polynesian women, or just families similar who adopted, went through the same situation. They were reaching out to me like, oh my gosh, like, thank you for sharing your story. Like, like, we're going through the same situation, but ours, and, they just shared their experience with me and their personal stories, and that's what I wanted. To be able to relate to someone and vice versa.
Yeah.
So,
I love that.
And, like, for them to reach out to you, were you like, were you getting emotional with their stories as well?
Yes, because I was like, I guess I was just too much in my, because I'm the first out of my family, honestly, to give my daughter or my kid to my sister-in-law. So like for adoption. Mm-hmm. So it was new to me, everything, the emotions, just literally like being unsure. Do I really want to do this? Like, yes. Is she going to hate me when she gets older? Things like that. Yeah. So like I for 4 years, mind you, that's why I didn't do it when she was born, because I wasn't ready, Yeah. So
that day you signed the papers, it was like reality. Yes. And everything.
Like, and my sister-in-laws, I'm grateful for them because they made it easy for me. Mm-hmm. Like, yes. She's in great hands. Mm-hmm. My daughter, you guys, she is. I love our bond now. It wasn't easy, but now, like, now that everything's official, everything's just it's beautiful. It's peaceful, and she's happy. That's the main important part, is that she's happy, and she knows bio mom and dad, and she knows moms. Yeah. So, yeah.
Story is so.
Why do we have to start so hard? Like, I'm getting so emotional.
I really do just applaud you, because you and your husband, because I know for your husband too, that's hard mentally to detach from a child that came from you. Right. And I feel like mothers have a connection to their children. Like my mom, she always says, like, you came out of me. Like, your dad won't feel what I feel. Exactly. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, it makes sense. Like you're literally ripped from them out of us, so it's really to see you want to just do that is.
Mm-hmm. Well, I just wanted to speak about that too. Like, I'm happy you brought up that topic, because I actually have like 2 siblings that are adopted out of our family, but it's all like within our family. For those who don't know, like in the Tongan culture, it's normal to for people in your family who can't like have kids, like it's normal for us to like give a child to another family. So that happened to me and my siblings twice. The first time I was like too young to remember, and the second time I actually was taking care of like my youngest brother, and up till he was 1 year old. And literally my aunt and them, like, I was supposed to be actually adopted too, but it didn't happen until, like, the youngest one, he's like 5 right now. And I was so emotional because I was like, Mom, you're gonna give that, like, you're gonna give our my baby, like, I was like with him every night. So I felt like I was his mom too. And I don't know what my mom like went through as well, but I remember, like, our family, we were sitting in the living room, my mom was like crying, my dad didn't even know what was happening, like what you said. My dad was like, wait, what? Like, I have a call too, like, I get to say what I want to say. And then we're like all just crying, and I was just looking at him and my mom. I'll remember her words, and she was like, you know, like, we're so blessed from Heavenly Father. Like, look how many siblings you guys. There's 8 of you, and the fact that, like, they only have 1 child right now. Like, imagine the happiness that we have. We can give it to their family too. Like, I was so mad at her, and then just seeing my little brother, like, be with his family and the joy that they got. Because we have a big family, and compared to a small family, I know they were so happy from that. And I'm just happy to share that story, because not that many people would talk about this topic in the Tongan community.
It's tough. No, and even though I was, you know, receiving so much love from it, there were those too that were like, I wish I had your courage to share my story too, and things like that. But honestly, it's something that's not rushed. When you feel it's the right time, then, you know, act on it. But yeah, I just wanted to share that. And thank you, Lawson, because this is crazy. I never thought I'd be able to share it on social platform, but thank you.
I love that, because talking about social media, we get really influenced by other people's stories. Like, I don't know if you guys have seen, but like my TikTok feed, I can be scrolling down, and then boom, somebody posts their mom dying, and I feel what they feel, you know, like, I start crying, and I'm like, I never imagined that I could be influenced by a stranger. But being the person on the other side who I know you, and I see that, and seeing that other strangers are influenced by that, it's just like, social media is beautiful. Like, the platforms that's given to us, and the fact that we're using it for mental health and just kind of connecting, it's like chef's kiss, top tier, like, honestly, because with me, I like, with all of us, we post out fashion content, especially for us Polynesian women. It's harder for us to wear things because let's talk about it, right?
Let's freaking talk about it.
Like, let's talk about it. And this is no shade to any of the Polynesian women out there, but it's just something that it needs to be addressed. In the Polynesian culture, you know, conservative and modest is something that's the hottest, right? Dressing conservative, and for us influencers, we're stepping out and dressing into style. And I feel like we're finding our identity more. And it's hard for the culture to accept it, you know, but it's like, you have those little 4-year-old, those little 12-year-old girls, those 15-year-old girls, those 20-year-old women who are all watching you become something that they wish they could be. And it's like, social media is an influencing platform, and if you have the talents of singing or styling or just putting it on for Polynesian women, I feel like it's needed. When I came into this platform, there wasn't a lot of Polynesian women that I could get inspired by. There wasn't a lot of women that the clothes that I wear is nothing compared to what women.
That's so true. I think you're one of the first that I've seen, like, ooh, out there.
It's like, oh, and there's other people, other Polynesian women too, that I love that they're coming out more with their style, right? But when I was growing up, and when I came into the platform of styling, fashion, modeling, there was no Polynesian influence for me to look up to say, like, I want to wear that. It was always, I got to dress modest, I got to dress conservative, because that's what my mom and dad said. So true. You know, like, and it's what the church says too. It's like, this is, we're all women of faith. That's how we were raised. Yes, we're all women of faith, and we all grew up a way where clothing matters in our culture. Like, what you wear, you're going to get judged on.
That's so freaking true.
Right? Everything. And so I applaud the women now, because as much as I get tired, as much as I get uninspired, I feel like I said, the 12, the 15, the 20, those women are my inspiration to keep going. Like, keep posting. As much as you feel like you're not influencing someone, there's a little girl out there like me that's looking for that inspiration. And so I get a lot of backlash, like, does your family ever talk to you about showing skin or embracing my curves, because that's another thing that is hard for Polynesians, is talking about our curves. We're always, for me growing up, I was always told that plus size isn't the size.
Let's talk about it.
Right? I was always told that plus size.
I have a couple stories.
Yeah, right? I was always told that plus size is not the size of attraction. That's
so
not
true.
something that is attracted. But in our culture, being a big girl is an attraction. Like, they're like, oh, you're beautiful. However, you need to lose weight just a little bit. Or,
Right.
you know, like the
Yes.
backhanded compliments. And so it's like, what do you want from me? Like, do you want this body? Do you not?
Right.
Like, and then it's sometimes, and I hate to say this, but it grew some insecurities in me growing up, that I always was like, oh, I need to stand like this so that way my angles are good. I need to wear a long enough shirt so that way all my curves, because being a girl with thighs, big booty, you know, like it
All
wasn't but it wasn't something that was looked on.
Right.
Me growing up, I hid my curves. I hid my big booty. I hid everything because I always thought that was unpleasant to look at. But now that we're in a BBL era,
Period.
Yeah.
Period. Go ahead.
and I hate to say that, but we're in a BBL era.
And it's all over your For You page.
Yes, and it's like now curvy women are appreciated for their curves. Like
Yeah.
I want you guys to talk about that too. Like, how was it for you guys?
Honestly, and you know, I'm so glad that you brought that up, because you know what gave me my spark back, what gave, I guess, Mama's groove back, was when you know, the plus size that group.
Yes, body
So
inclusive.
yes. So when I joined that's because, you know, as a mom, we put our kids first for so long. Like, you kind of
Yes.
like,
Need a
you
break.
sit back. Yes. You're like, let me make sure they're good. I'm okay.
Yes.
So, you know, we look like zombies every day and things like that. But when, shout out to Pookie and Ashley, my
Yes.
girls. Yes. So when they had hit me up and was like, girl, you would be perfect for this. Mind you, I was like, I'm not ready. You know, like, I'm a mom. Like, I haven't been to the gym, things like that. Like, everything that you just stated. But when I went to our first photo shoot, and it was actually here. It was here in this building. Yes,
That's dope.
It was in this building downstairs.
Oh, that's dope.
It's a sign. It's a sign.
It's a sign. Honestly, yeah.
When I went to my first photo shoot with them, and they just, the glam, the positivity, you know, and being able to be around women that look like me, where I can relate to them, you know, things like that.
Period.
That's what, honestly, it just sparked everything back in me. Oh, okay, you know what? Now I remember who I am. Now, you know, let me jump back into it. So
You've been that girl.
yeah,
You just needed to come back.
Yes, that's so true. So I'm
I
grateful.
love that. Tell us about you. Like, what have you ever experienced? Like, just, you know.
Okay, yeah, I have a story time. So growing up, like, it was a lot for me with the whole, like, you know, body positivity stuff. Because, like, my older sisters, they were always, like, smaller than me. So every time we'd go shopping, my mom was like, you can't wear that because, like, you're too big, blah, blah, blah. And I'm over here like, I want to be hoochie too.
Okay.
You know?
One time for the one time.
Yeah. And then my mom, she'd always be like, you can't wear this, you can't wear that, like, blah, 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 you're too big. And then I would, like, literally, like, cry and, like, compare myself. Well, like, as a teenager, I would cry and, like, compare myself to other teenage girls. Because I was like, girl, I'm trying to look good, too. But, you know, like, it's hard. It's hard to be small, like, with the things that we be eating in our culture. Yeah, so it was, like, tough for me growing up, like, to learn to love myself and my body. Like, I think I went through a phase where I was around, like, 16, where my mom would be like, oh, you know, if you want to talk to boys. Well, I don't blame her, because this is how she was also I think it's like a generational thing, like with Tongans.
Yes.
Like, they always tell you, like, you're too big, you're too skinny. Like,
Yeah.
So I was like my heaviest my freshman year. And then junior year, I started liking boys, and I was like, you know what, I need to get to the gym. But and I was like, I think I was losing weight for the wrong reasons. And with when boys came around, like, I was seeking for their validation to, like, be like, oh yeah, you're beautiful, you're pretty. It's like getting all of that attention. I was like, in my head, I was like, oh, I'm reliving, or I'm like feeling comfort for the little girl in me who was like, oh, I'm not cute enough, or I'm not small enough. And then I think I was getting the wrong attention from that, and I was realizing, I was like, why am I caring about what guys think that I look like? So it took, like, a lot for me to learn to love myself, and then, like, disassociating myself with, like, boys, and taking the time around, like, I was 18, Because I went from like 215 in freshman year to like 160 in one, like that's a big drop.
Okay,
like
Miss
I was,
Gang.
yeah.
Right. Let me know.
Okay,
No,
what's the secret?
let me
No,
know.
I was no. It was literally like I was proud of myself, but it was literally like depression. Like it was just like seeking validation from other males and like seeing like, oh, I'm beautiful because he said so. And then like growing up, like I think after high school, I was like, wait, I think my parents took my social media away because they knew that I was like getting like mental
Thank
like
you.
effed
Shout out
up
to
in the
moms
head.
and dads.
Yeah, shout out to my parents. Cause,
Yes.
yeah, so they took my phone away for like my senior year. And I was like, wait, why am I caring about what everyone thinks?
Right.
And then my parents were like trying to unlearn to keep telling myself like, you're too big. Because when I was getting skinny, then everyone's like, you're sick. And I'm over here like,
Let's
you
talk
said
about
I'm too
it.
big.
Because honestly,
They're like, you're too big. And then when I got small, they're like, oh, you're sick. And I'm like, damn, what do y'all want me to be? So I was like going through a identity crisis in a way. I don't know. But I like overcame it with like self-love and like music. And especially since they took my phone away, I was like learning who I am as a person and not just for like my body or my features. And that's how I found my husband.
Okay.
But yeah, we'll save that.
shout out to hubby.
Yeah.
I love that though, because we're talking about generational curses and things like that.
Right.
I don't know about you guys, but did you guys grow up in like a strict household? Okay, thank you. And us being women, like, were you guys ever allowed to date?
I'm gonna jump right on in.
Go ahead.
Okay.
And I want to do spicy
Yes,
questions too.
yes.
Like, what is the most bad thing?
Yes,
Yeah.
let's do it.
Okay,
Jump in.
we gonna keep it for real. So, yeah. Just speaking about generational curses. Sorry, I just got traumatized before I could even talk.
We love our family though. This
love
is
you, but
disclaimer.
now it's time to log off.
Disclaimer, but we're gonna tell the truth.
Y'all need to pay to hear this story.
Okay.
No, especially being I'm the oldest daughter, the oldest child.
Speak on it.
Period.
Speak on it.
Right. So as the oldest, what happens with the oldest? You have to experience everything, the good, the bad, with your parents. Okay.
Yes.
So my parents, yes, just like any OG Tongan mom and dad, very strict. Dress like this. Don't go in the sun. You're gonna get too black. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's
Speak
another
on
topic.
it.
Okay.
Speak on it.
So yeah. So my parents were very strict, and I was, I'm going through my phase, girl. Snuck like I was the black sheep of the family, y'all. That's why I wear my black shirt. That's why I wear my black shirt.
Shout out to the black sheep.
Black pants. Oh no, I don't.
I was a freaking black sheep, and it's crazy because as I got older, and my siblings, now they're in high school, it's like watered down. Like they not, beating them, lecturing
Let's
them.
talk about that.
Yes.
They get to get away with the crop tops. And
Oh my goodness.
But it's crazy. I just think like with time, especially with my parents, what I've seen is as they get older, and we find ourselves, like we're more comfortable with being big. I've always been a big girl, and my parents, like anybody that knows me knows that I've always been a big girl, but I was always athletic. But like my volleyball games, my dad, basketball shorts, not spandex. And I was that girl that was wearing basketball shorts and not spandex. And anytime I was wearing spandex, it's because my dad wasn't at the game. But like things like that, that's what I mean. Like my parents were so strict to me because I'm the oldest. I'm the what is it, trial and error child.
Yeah,
you're kind of like the follow the leader.
Yes.
Whenever you're the one that
I set the pace.
That
Yes.
sets the tone for all the siblings.
Tone. That's what it is. But yeah, so I did that. I went through everything with my parents, and then as soon as my sister went to high school and hit college, girl,
Different
it's like
story.
all the rules that happened here didn't happen no more. It was gone, vanished.
Different story.
But that's so crazy because now though my parents understand. Like
Yes.
like they're slowly, and especially it's just so crazy because there was a year. Especially out here in Utah, like, depression was so real, like suicidal.
Big time. Big time.
Like they were so young.
Yeah.
And it's crazy because it's all from the things that we taken from our parents, our family, like it's just too much pressure. And it was that year I had to tell my parents, like, my brother was going through the same thing. Like, he just had dropped out of D1, full ride scholarship to San Jose. Spartans, shout out to the Spartans. Yeah, but he was going through that phase, and my parents were just instantly upset. Yeah. They didn't want to, you know, like, why is he like that? You know, what is he going through? Until I was old enough, mind you, I already had to, I went through everything on my own. Like,
you grew up.
I had to heal myself, you know, and things like that. And I had to teach my parents, you know, things are different now. You know, depression is real. Like, just be there for him. That's all
like
it is.
They say, like, it's fear palongi, but that
it's
you
not.
have to, like, go through it to
depression
like,
is for all races. So that was crazy that we're talking about generational curse. I mean, I guess generational curses, but sometimes it just takes us to have that conversation with our parents to break it.
Big facts.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Like my parents, they were really against me, like, embodying my fashion and coming out and styling myself and showing skin. Like, of course, that's not everybody's cup of tea, but for me, like, that drives my confidence. I have the confidence, but my style fuels it, right?
Yeah. Like, that's you.
Yes. And it didn't take until me sitting my parents down. Like, my mom, she never came to my fashion shows, but there was one recent fashion show that she came to, and she was just like, it was hard for her to take in. She's a very traditional woman, so everything about the fashion show she didn't like. She wasn't used to. It was just all overwhelming to her. But it took me sitting them down, like, letting them understand that my clothes doesn't define the type of person I am. Yes. Because our parents tend to tie in that showing your body and wearing the type of clothes we wear makes us a hoe, or makes us like we look like we get around.
Folky,
Thank you. It, like, they seem to think that fashion ties in with that. Like, we're the type, just because I show my belly, now I'm getting around. And so it made me have to sit down and tell them, like, Mom,
like, girl, I'm still a virgin.
Yes. Like, Mom and Dad, like, I hope you guys understand that I, as a woman, I'm not a little girl anymore, but I, as a woman, want to express myself in the way that I present myself. I have this model that if I look good, I feel good. If I feel good, I look good. So no matter what, even if I'm disappointed in an outfit, if I feel good, I'm gonna look good. No matter what, right? And so I sat them down and finally told them, like, this needs to stop. Like, I hope you guys know that even though I love to style myself, it doesn't present me as something that you guys think I am. And my dad, he was the first to understand. Of course, because I'm a daddy's girl. You know, like, shout out to the daddy girl. Okay, but he was the first to understand. And he's like, whatever makes you happy, I'm happy. It was my mom that was a little tender-hearted.
It's always the mama.
Yes,
it's always the mama.
Talk about it.
And my mom, she was it took her a little more to catch on. But she would always say, like, but you don't have the body to show that. Like, you don't have the, you know, like, you need a flat stomach for that. And I'm just like, but Mom, like, if I want to show it off, I'm going to show it off. And I go, and I want my nieces and nephews, because I don't have kids, but shout out to everyone that has kids. I want my nieces, especially, and my nephews to know that they have an auntie who's confident, so that they can grow up and be confident, because generational curses, right? My parents taught me to be conservative, and confidence was never a thing. I love yous, saying I love you in our house was never something that my parents ever taught us. And now I speak love everywhere I go. Like, I speak love to my nieces, I speak love to the people, my friends, because I believe that if you speak love, love will come back. So now my parents are saying I love you. Like, it's just become like you said, as long as we teach them.
You set the tone.
Right, as long as you teach your parents. And
that's true.
I'm not saying that our parents are bad or that they taught us wrong.
At all.
Right? This is, like you said, generational curse. It was something that they learned from their generation.
Right.
And that generation passed it on to that generation. Now, us coming in and raising our families, we got to... break that curse. Break that curse and understand that mental health is important. Because we don't talk about it enough. But tying into the subject of mental health, let's talk about the difference between an oldest, a middle child, and the youngest.
The oldest? You're the youngest?
I'm the youngest.
Middle child.
Yes,
see?
Oldest,
perfect. Middle child, and youngest. I want
perfect.
us to talk about, so this is the three things that I want us to talk about as us in our positions. I want us to talk about, how did our parents treat us compared to the rest of our siblings?
Yes, I want to talk about that.
Okay, that's question number one is, how did your parents treat you versus your siblings?
And the boys.
Yes. And then Question number 2 is, what did you have to do to survive in your family? And I don't mean that like it's the wildlife, you know,
right? Like the trenches.
Yeah. Like, but what did you have to do to keep yourself afloat so that way you can get? So that's the second question.
That's a great.
Yes, and then the last one, I want us to touch on, how did we feel being in that position? I know because we can't choose who's the oldest, middle, and youngest,
right?
But how did we feel growing up being that position, and where are we at now? Like. Okay,
I love that lesson.
So we can start, like, whoever wants to start. Let's do this.
Wait, middle child, you get your shine.
Okay, middle child. You know,
you always tucked off. Go ahead, boo.
We gotta admit it. Like the middle child, they deserve the love.
Right. Damn. Why? I didn't know I was gonna be first. I think like the middle. Well, it's crazy because I literally was going through this like 3 weeks ago with my parents. So there's like it's just a lot that's been happening since. Oh, shit. Since I ran away at 18. Edit. I was like, wait, where's this stemming from? I was like, oh, yeah, I forgot I did that. But I think...
we getting real. Yeah, we getting full real.
Yeah, I don't want to take too much time from that. But I think to describe, like, my story, I'm going to try to say as much as I can as possible. But being the middle child, I think my parents, they learned from the oldest. My oldest sister, like my mom, she gave her so much freedom, and I was me and my sister were 5 years apart. So when I saw my sister's freedom, I was like, ooh, I can't wait till I'm a teenager. Like I could do whatever I want. So as my sister got older, like things would happen, and my mom, I would be in the back seat, and she's like, Mila, you know, since I was so hard, since I let your older sister have so much freedom, like when it comes to you, like no, you're not doing none of that. And girl, I was so sad. I was like, damn, I was like, I was ready. And then when she broke that to me, I was like so freaking pissed off, like every little thing, because I think they wanted me to be like perfect in the middle, because they already tried their mistakes with my oldest sister, so they learned from her, and then it stemmed to me like you have to go on your mission once you're 19, like once you graduate, you know, like be the good girl. So growing up, I was always the good girl that everyone looked towards to. Because my sister did her mistakes, and then it was my turn, and everyone's looking at me like, oh, you're gonna, you know, like the thing is big in Tongan communities, like keep the family name like up there. So I felt so much pressure being a teenager, like, you know, about boys, and then also about being the pressure of being a good girl. Like I felt like I had to act a certain way in front of my family, like that I was this person. And then when I go back to school and like social media, I was like, damn, I could be the bitch that I want to be. Like I could be the real person that I am. And then I would like talk so much shit or vent like on those platforms, like on my private pages. And now like looking at it, I kept asking my parents, because when they were so strict on me, when I left home, I ran away at 18 because it was just too much at home, like a lot of pressure that I felt I was going towards. Like my parents were like forcing me to go on my mission because I started talking to my husband, and they're like, he's not good for you. Like you could do. You need a husband who's like a good family and have like these certain characteristics, and also to like having they're like, you never experienced talking to a guy who doesn't have what's that called, complete home, like both parents, like so I was looking at it like, y'all hating on my man, like I'm gonna change his life. But girl, when I was experiencing it, I was like the first couple years of my husband, I was like, oh shit, like this is what my parents are talking about. Like my life is so different compared to his. But oh my gosh, sorry if I'm getting off topic. But yeah, I left my house at 18. And when I left, my mom, they started like being more lenient with my brothers and their social medias, because my parents, they looked through all my messages. So I had to make a fake account, and like that's where the black sheep stuff, like I started like hiding stuff from them, like. And when I left home, I was like, oh damn, why are they giving my siblings freedom? Like, and I would see it like, oh, do you guys love them more than me? And it was just like a lot of built up tension over the years, even till like couple, like I said 3 weeks ago. I've always thought like my parents were always like mad at me, but we never had the sit down conversation, like, because it's rare, like, for Tongans, like, in our community, for us to even, like, talk about that stuff. Like, we just, like, throw it under the rug. We're like, we don't want to do confrontation.
That's true.
So it started with the comment my brother said, like, he was like, because I was like, you better go to college. And then he was like, I don't want to end up like you. And those words, like, hurt me. Because I'm like, what do you mean like me? Like, I'm okay, like, blah, blah, blah. Yes. And then my parents were like, just like, fuck, I got that in with him. And then, like, I was, like, breaking down in tears. Yeah. Because I was like, I'm not that bad. Like, no, it's just like them coming at me. I was like, damn, did I do something wrong? Like, it's just a lot of stuff we never talked about that was, like, set with that little remark he made. And then my mom, I was crying, and I was like, you guys don't understand what I went through. Like, there's things that you guys held me back from that I couldn't do because you guys were so strict on me. And then my dad was, like, arguing with me. And then I was, like, talahuing. And, girl, I was scared because I never talked back to my dad.
As much as grown as we are.
Right, we're not that grown.
We're not that grown. We still can get the...
he was right before kids.
Yeah, my dad was right next to me, and my dad, me and him, like, have a special relationship too. Like, I'm his favorite, and I was scared when I was talking back to him because, girl, one time, I'll leave that for well, I got the worst ass beatings. Let's just say that from my dad. Sure. So when I was like talahuing to him, and I was like, oh shit, the fact that I'm 22, and I was like, oh shit, like I was like, okay, dad, yeah, and then my mom's over here, and like I felt like everyone was going against me. And then my mom, like, since she's been sick, she was like, wait, Gordon, we actually need to listen to Mila. And because before, everyone just cussed me off, and they're like, girl, you just want to be a victim. That's what everyone says about the middle child. So then when they were, yes, everyone thinks, like, no, y'all be doing us dirty. So then, yes.
Hold on.
Yes. Yeah, sorry. There's a reason why I went first. So my parents, they're like, oh, I thought they were going to be like, oh, you're just victimizing yourself. And then my mom, she's like, wait, Gordon, let's listen to Mila. And then the fact that I could express to them fully, like, there's things I would hold back. And the fact that I could tell them, like, this is why I feel like you guys been treating me different. I felt like you haven't been loving me like the rest of the kids. Like, I always felt like an outcast, like a black sheep. And then my mom's like, we don't treat you like that. And then she was like, wait, Gordon, you're right. Like, and then my mom, it's rare for poly parents to do this, but my mom apologized to me. And she's
very rare. Let's stress on that. It's very rare.
And
yes.
It does happen only once.
Yeah. Because the way they apologize like, oh, I got you some food. And like, we never talk about it again. So the fact that my mom like had the guts, like that's so rare in our family to ever apologize for something you did wrong. Especially an elder apologizing to someone like,
Yes.
So for her to do that, like, it healed the inner child in me. Like, oh my gosh, I wasn't crazy all these years. I knew something was up. Yes. It's like my mom saying that, like, it brought us closer. And like, you just need to find that space to talk with your parents. Because I've been having built up things that I felt like they're plotting against me, or like, you know, just overthinking by myself. And then the fact that conversation where we all expressed ourselves evenly, like, you're my mom and I'm a child, but the fact that we're all equal in that space, like, I just felt like I was heard. And the little Mila in me was like, oh my gosh, everything is complete. But that's like the little middle child story. Sorry if I took too much time.
And then I have a question too, like, being a middle child, like, how was it with your sibling wise? Like, that's you with your parents. Like, how's it been with your?
Oh, okay.
Like,
I want to talk about this too.
Like, did you Royal Rumble with that? Like,
okay. So there's like a backstory kind of. So, my older sister Dinah, she was with us the majority of the time growing up, but while she was a teenager, I was like the one at home who was like the oldest, who had to get everyone like rally, like, you know, play the older sister role. And I also have an older sister, Naki, but she was on her mission as well. So this is around me being 12 to 14ish. That was like one of the hardest things I was experiencing being the oldest, because there's a lot of things I had to learn. Like, my motto growing up was an eye for an eye. So yes, girl. My mom hated that about me.
And I was a person.
Yes. My mom hated that about me. She was like, you know, she would talk to me so many times. She's like, you know, you're the oldest girl at home. Like, your brothers, you have to be more forgiving. And I was like, well, that's why I'm not the oldest. Like, I would tell my mom that
her middle child came out. The real.
And this is why I got the most beatings. And then I just felt like I didn't have that certain respect from my brothers, like the ones who are younger than me, because they're like, yeah, you're older than us, but you're not like, because Dinah's 5 years older than me. So like to them, she's 7 years older. And then with my brothers, I'm only 2 years away. Yeah. And they like treat me like we're the same age. And that always pissed me off because I didn't get the same respect. Well, I still don't. But then my dad, his favorite thing to tell me is like, Mila, know your place. Know your place. Because I'm always so, growing up, I'm still kind of like that. I'm quick to tell someone back, like, oh, if you're going to say something about me, I'm going to say it back to you. Right. And then now that I'm learning as I get older, it's like, oh, you should be chill. Yes. Know that you're in the middle. Like, just accept that you're not up there and you're not down there where you could get away with things. So, like, it's kind of hard to balance, like, the middle child syndrome that I be going through. Sorry, I had a lot to say about that.
No, I love it, though. Yeah. You really got into it.
Yeah, for real. I'll go and then you can. Okay. So me being the youngest child, I grew up with all brothers, like all boys.
Oh,
yes.
Spoiled.
Yes. Mm-hmm. So unfortunately, I dealt with the good part of being the youngest. Is like my brothers always respected me. They always knew that whatever I say is the say. Like they knew. Like there'd be times where. And this is probably evil of me, but when I was younger, and I'm sorry to my brothers, I apologize.
No, we being for real though.
I apologize for being this, but when I was younger and I didn't get my way of things, I would cry and say that my brothers hit me. Because why? I knew my dad would wake up, like if he heard me cry, he'd wake up and be like, who made her cry? And then I would sit there and all my brothers were like, please, don't. And then I look at the one brother that said no to me and I say, Dad, it was him. And my brother just looks at me like, he knew. Mm-hmm. He knew what was coming. Yep. My dad got up from his sleep. Mind you, he's just got off work. So he's tired.
Oh, that's a bad beating.
Yep. That's what I used to do. And I know that I'm not the only youngest one out there that did that. So I know that for a fact, especially only girls. But being the youngest, I feel like my parents are way more lenient on me. When I was younger, for sure, they were strict. When I was younger, like they were always like, do this, be here, be that. And I thought I'm a traditional Tongan dancer.
A really good one too.
Oh, thank you. And that was something that my parents made mandatory. Like every function I went to, that was something like, you have to do this, you have to do this. I think it was for them to just know that I'm still good, like I'm still a good girl. But it was also just something like I was passionate about. Yeah. But then growing up, like, my brothers, they really just kind of protected me. My brothers now are not overprotective over me. Like, they believe that I should venture off and do what I need to do and find what I need to find.
I love that.
Yeah. But my oldest brother, I had a conversation with him recently and he's just like, it blows my mind how mom and dad beat me up for every little thing, right? Right? As the oldest.
I hear you, oldest brother.
Yes, as the oldest, he was always like, it's crazy because when I was growing up, I would get in trouble for every little thing.
Yes.
Yeah, right? I would have to sneak out. But me, it's like, oh, mom and dad, I'm going out with my friends. Oh, mom and dad, I'm going out to the club. Crazy. Oh, mom and dad. And my parents would be like, yeah, go ahead. And my brother just sit there like, man, I had to sneak out. I had to sneak out.
We had to risk our lives.
Yeah, I had to jump through the trenches to get to where I needed to be.
Just to hang out with friends.
Right. And it was just like, but then there's me like, oh, I'm going to go out and have a brunch with my girls and even like seeing like the space that I'm in, especially being around a lot of male artists and things like that with my management. And it's just like, my parents know this too. And my brother's just like, I couldn't even hang out with girls. Like, what are you talking about? You could hang out with dudes and be cool. And I'm just like, I don't know. But I never realized how different it was until talking about it. So me as the youngest, I feel like my life is way more easier. But now, like, being the youngest and the only girl, I have the obligation of taking care of my mom and dad now that they're older. So we get to educate each other.
I love that.
And we agree to disagree. As much as my parents know that what they say goes, but they still know that I will, at the end of the day, still do what I believe is best for me. I love that. And so, being the youngest, I think is different. I shout out to all the youngest kids because we all know how great it was.
Yeah, it must be nice.
Right, must be nice.
I feel like the youngest kids, like, how like we got us older ones like got beat up and stuff. Like whenever I would tell my mom and dad like, you're just gonna let her like go around or you're gonna let her talk to me like that, and then when my parents are about to beat them up, like when I see them about to get hit, like because I'm so mad in the moment, and then when I see my mom like, okay, go get the belt, I was like, wait, no, I was just kidding. Yes. Like and then my mom's saying like, see, you want us to be mad, and then when we get mad, I was like, okay, I'm trying to find a balance, like to be more lenient with my little sibling.
My brothers were they were so much like, she's our sister, we protect her at all costs. So they were never ever like, let's blame her. I think being the youngest and the girl at that, and the only girl is like different. I feel like my brothers were like all just, our sister's important. And so, but my parents, they never really like, my dad never ever laid a hand on me ever. It was always my dang mom. Shout out to you, mom. I love you, mom. I love you so much, mom. I love you. That's why we're twins. Like we were here. Like we be bumping heads like crazy. And I don't know
wait till you get home.
Yeah, I was like, I don't know about y'all, but me and my mom, we bump heads the most. But yet me and my mom are always the closest. Yeah. So but yeah, it was always my mom that was always the discipline, and my dad was just like, do whatever. Still till now.
Daddy's girl for real.
Yes. Wow. But like, yeah. I'm 28 and I'm still asking my parents for permission. Will I always do that? Yes. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Real traditional.
Yeah. Yes. Now I want to hear the oldest because let's talk about it.
I want to hear everything.
Yes. And also, disclaimer, I love all of you oldest people, and like all you oldest childs of every family. Like you guys really go through it mentally.
Wait, what about the middle?
Yeah. And the middle too.
See,
and
that's
the
what
middle.
I'm talking about. See how we just got overlooked again.
See how we forgot? See how we just naturally forgot?
I'm so sorry, middle child. Like you guys are also important too.
I stand with y'all. I understand y'all.
Okay, so just going off my girls here, let's just say this. Okay, being the oldest, you build different. Let's just start there. Okay. Yeah, I always said I thought I was a daddy's girl, but no, I was my daddy's favorite son.
Oh my God.
If you know. My dad, I got the most beatings from my dad, and I'm talking like, let me not get into details before the popo comes.
Okay.
But
okay. We love you, parents.
Right. But yeah, I don't know. But a lot of it too, now that I'm older and I look back, you know, my parents, you're moving from Tongan.
Yes.
You're already set with that mindset and how things were when you were growing up. That's how he was trying to raise us. But America versus Tonga is so different. So he was trying to keep certain things, like certain traditions and cultures and all that shebang alive with me. But, you know, I'm raised here in the States. Like, you know, I go to school and I meet my friends and they're doing things differently. Like, I want to do it like that.
Yes.
And things like that. But just like you said, like, when I would ask my parents, oh, can I go out with my friends? It was always instantly, no. So that was the start of my black sheep moment. I was like, okay.
It's when you tell us no, we're going to find a way.
Okay.
And mom and dad, if you're watching, still love you. But
where there's a
here's the truth.
There is a way.
Wait, but I do want to ask you, for you just being the oldest, because I'm so interested, and I know that the oldest children go through so much. Yeah. Like, mentally, how did you survive past the expectations that they had for you compared to your siblings?
I had to bite my tongue a lot. And that's what... on it, I didn't think there was anything wrong with me, but now that, like I said, that I'm older and I look back, because I held so much in, you know, it messed me up mentally. But it did in a way, but it also made me strong. Like, I don't know. Now that I have kids of my own, I try and keep it different.
Yes.
And, you know, I try and raise them how I wish my parents would have done it. Super grateful though.
Yeah,
you know, like
you learning.
Yeah. But like I tried to. It was just I'm not gonna lie. I went through depression, but I always just kept it to myself because
as the
back
oldest,
to your parents,
but also as the oldest, like everyone looks up to you.
Yeah, and
so
I got beat for things. That my siblings were doing. Okay, so that's why the oldest we built different, but. Yeah, just mentally, it took a lot. I took a lot of beatings for things I didn't do. You know, when we're being lectured, it's always instantly the oldest's fault because you're supposed to be the leader. You're supposed to be the good example.
You're the role model.
Yes.
Yeah.
I never understood that until, like, I was the oldest for a little bit. And I would be like, why can't you blame
right
the middle
right.
child? Like, I'm like, blame blah,
Yes.
blah. And then, like, I would argue with my sister, and then, like, seeing her forgive more and the things, I'm like, dude, why don't you speak up? I'm over here like, why don't you speak up to mom and dad? Like, you're the oldest, blah, blah,
Right.
blah.
Yeah.
And I feel like the oldest, they always have that, like, respect.
Yes.
Yes,
love.
that's true.
Yeah, like, y'all.
I
praise
feel,
y'all for
yeah,
that.
I feel like the oldest kids of every family are the most patient and the most forgiving.
And we
And
wasn't
it's-
always like that.
Yeah.
It came with time.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I just looking at my oldest brother too, like, man, I
Yes.
give props because it's like, you guys really went through, you guys were literally the blueprint, right?
That's
You were
what
your
it is.
parents. Okay,
Yes.
this is what we did, made a mistake with this one. Let's choose to not do it with this one,
Okay.
right? So it's like, you guys are the blueprint of how they raise the rest
Yes,
of the kids.
that is so true.
So it's like, let's not do this with the next. Let's change from there.
Yeah,
But
and then it came to the youngest, and it's like, fight the Leo.
okay. Well, sorry. Shout out to the youngest. Let's like tie in as well with family matters, because Mila, you mentioned you ran away and did your big one,
Oh, you
right?
can walk out.
Bye.
I'm just kidding.
I want to talk about like marriage life, like because you both, and I don't mean to put status out there, but you guys are both married women, and I just want to know, like, how is the married life? What's the good and bad? Because me as a single girl who is looking to date to marry,
Yes.
I would like to get advice on what's the downfalls and the up, I guess the goods of marriage.
Just notice the red flags and the butterflies at first. But I think for me, if I'm being honest, like when I was 19, well, I was 18 when I ran away. And then I actually didn't want to get married at first. Like, my parents were like, like in the Tongan way, we can't have, like, you look like,
Right.
how do you say it in Tongan? Like a cheap whore. That's like,
Focusy.
yes. Yes. Yeah, there's just like comments like around the whole family, like, we don't do this, blah, blah, blah. And then I'm over here like, I'm breaking generational curses. Because I was
This is what
like,
happened when you keep me
Yeah.
sheltered. Like,
No,
and I
really,
was like,
honestly.
I think people would hide what I was doing. But me, like, going away from home, I was like, I want everyone to, like, I would document, like, that I was living with my boyfriend at the time, who is my husband now. And I'm like, oh, the life, like, it's, like, Americanized. Like, I wanted to break that, like, no, I want to do this. And then eventually, like, as time came, I was just like, you know what? Like, why don't I get married? It's just, I never seen myself getting married so young.
Right.
We got married, like, 8 months
Right.
after that.
wait, but when you
Mr.
feel
Hoodie.
love, you feel love,
Yeah.
Okay,
right?
that's true.
Yeah.
Like,
And it was crazy because after, like, a month living with him, like, I finally talked to my parents after so long. And my dad's like, you need to get married. And then I looked at my boyfriend at the time, Isaac, and I was like, I was laughing. I was like, do you want to get married? And then he was like, yeah, why don't we? Like, he was just like, yeah, why not?
Oh, so he fell first.
oh, so okay. Shout out to the ladies that's proposing, because we're really out here doing that.
Yeah, I was like, what the hell? Like, you want to get married? And it was crazy because the first 2 weeks, his family is really, well, his grandparents are really Tongan. His mom's like very lenient, but they're already planning, what's that called? The engagement?
Gati?
Yes.
Whakamao.
Yeah, but I don't know what it is, but they're
Goalesas,
yeah. The first week I was living with him, his grandparents were already planning the engagement and like to bring the gifts to my family, and I was like, babe, we're not doing this because I don't know. I was like, fun fact, I only met my husband 4 times before I lived with him because my parents they wouldn't let.
Shout out to
We
the
need to go
hubby.
to a part 2 for real.
I'm gonna give
Next
you
session, y'all.
Yeah, but we only met 4 times, and I ran away because it was COVID, so I couldn't see him at all. Like, every time I try to see him, everyone's at home, so how do I see my man, So I only seen him like 4 times, and the 5th time I was like, I can't do this shit because we're talking online for like 8 months, and I was like, I can't do this. Like, I want to be with you, and he's like, I want to be with you too. Like, and then he's like, let's just run away, blah blah blah. Like, that's like the typical Tongan love story. So yeah, I ran away. He picked me up, and there's like more stories that we'll bring up that what led us to that point. But with that happening, yeah. It was just like a typical, I think, like Tongan love story, how everything came in hand. We didn't get married right away. when his grandparents, when I found out they were planning the engagement, I told him, like, we need to plan the next flight out to his dad's house in Utah. I was like, I'm not getting married at 18. I'm not doing this with you. I'm not doing the Tongan stuff. I was like, I don't even know you yet. Like, we only met each other 4 times. And he's like, you sure? Like, he was just like, cool. He was like, he said, I'm down to get married. And I'm like, no, I want you to propose to me.
Right.
Yeah.
Red flag, I'm down to get
like,
married.
He's
with
like,
no
yeah,
proposal.
I'm surprised it didn't turn into a 52-part story.
No, it was about to. I'm just kidding. No.
After tonight is about to. Hold up.
Yeah, we got married like 8 months after, and then it's just been a roller coaster. Like, there's so many things. Every time, like, there's moments where, like, you know, we want to give up or, like, leave each other. He always, like, reminds me, like, you know, we're still growing with each other. Like, this experience is, like, beautiful with you. Never has he told me, this is a green flag. Never has he told me he don't want to be with me. Because every time I want to leave, like,
Did
he's
he
like,
just signal you to say a green flag about him?
a green flag, I guess.
I love love.
Yeah. But if I've heard this saying too, like, if a man tells you the first time that he doesn't love you or doesn't want anything with you, like, that will be like your instinct, like, you have to get out of that relationship. And with him, I haven't, like, experienced that yet, and I hope not to, because once he says that, my heart's gonna break, because I know he's really done with me. But yeah, we done rode and died. But yeah,
but still riding. Period.
Till we'll fall off.
What about you, Miss Epo?
You want the good or the bad? We're stressed.
All of it.
All of it. I want the gems.
We're a little short on time, so
I'm just the gems.
Oh, shoot, I'm so sorry.
That's okay.
Okay.
We're going to cut it there.
Yeah.
No, just kidding. Okay, let me try and, I guess, give you guys a quick version. Just similar, riding off of my sis right here. I got married young as well. Actually, no, lied. I didn't get married young. I got pregnant first. Oh. There is the tea.
That's time. We don't have time. I want to talk about this too.
But I'm gonna speed it up. So I got pregnant first. Instant disappointment to my parents. You already know.
And the oldest child. I know that. Like,
that's a lot. That's a lot.
So dad already cut me off, and it was just my mom. My dad didn't even come to my wedding, y'all. Well, I didn't even have it to the courthouse, but he was that hurt. Like, my dad was so, you know, as the oldest, he has high expectations and things like that. But I met this guy from LA.
Shout out to LA.
I met this guy from LA. He the one.
He the one.
He the one that took me on a journey, but one that I'm very grateful for. So we got married very young. We became mom and dad also very young, and because we didn't have a game plan, you know, on how the future was going to, we weren't prepared. I'll tell you that. So if you're going to marry anyone, it's probably best to have a game plan. Or, you know, just like plan out your future and things like that. But the bright side to not having a game plan, you're going through struggles. You're going through, you know, bills, stress, on top of all of that, trying to raise kids, keep your marriage alive. You know, so much things are piling on. But if that's really your one, you stick through it. If that's really your one, if you guys write it out and you stick through it, I promise it gets better.
Ooh. I love that.
We actually, next time we need to talk more in detail.
And we will.
Yes,
we will. But we're going to end it there. Yeah. Okay? Love you guys.
We want to go more in detail. Yes. But thank y'all for staying tuned to the B4Real Podcast.
That was great, y'all.
Let's say bye, like our names.
Yeah.
But it's your girl, Mila. Thank y'all for tuning in.
And once again, it's your girl, Lose Baby.
And it's Epo. Thank you, guys.
Bye.
I could talk to